Hello everyone, welcome back. So I've got some wonderful news to share with you guys. The House, okay, and only the House so far, has passed Trump's big, beautiful bill. Okay, so what's so beautiful about it? Well, it gets suppressors out of the NFA. Okay, so no $200 tax stamp, no registration. From what I've heard, both GOA and NRA have verified that that's what the bill is. A lot of people out that aren't lawyers, I'm not a lawyer, who have tried reading the wording, have said, no, that's not what it says. I mean, legal language can be very confusing to people that are not lawyers. So the NRA lawyers and GOA lawyers have verified, okay, that it gets rid of the $200 tax stamp, and it gets the suppressors out of the NFA. Now, what's unclear is if you would basically if it would have to go to an FFL, and you would have to get a background check. Okay? So I haven't heard anybody talking about that. I hope that there's the reason for that is because it has been intentionally left vague or it's been omitted so that later on, we can say, hey, it doesn't say that we got to do a background check, so we don't have to do a background check, right? It's an accessory that can ship straight to your house. So that's what I'm hoping is going on there. But I haven't heard anything on whether or not it would have to go through a background check. Okay, so I'm kind of hoping that it means, or we will be able to interpret it as not needing to go through a background check. But in any case, even if it does, okay, you would still be able to build one on your own. Okay, once it comes out of the NFA, no tax stamp. Just like you can build guns now, right? You can mill out receivers. You would be able to build your own suppressors. And building suppressors, if you start with a shielded muzzle brake, like a 3-chamber muzzle brake that gets a shield over it. I mean, if you know how to weld, or you know somebody that knows how to do some welding work, it's not that hard to go from a shielded muzzle brake to a suppressor. Okay, it may not be the best suppressor in the world, but it'll be nice. It'll be decent. And you would be able to do that on your own because no registration, no tax stamp. Okay, so I'm really happy about this. It is like, it's like, this is awesome. It still needs to pass the Senate. Okay, so what are the chances of it passing the Senate? I'd say it was pretty damn good. Okay, the slim majority in the House worked in our favor, so that's an important takeaway from here. Okay, the fact that the majority in the House was so slim meant that they needed almost all of the Republicans in the House to vote for Trump's big beautiful bill. And the Freedom Caucus, right? I love those guys and girls. I love them. The Freedom Caucus, right, took the stance that, hey, if you don't put this in there, we're not voting for it. Okay, so they needed their votes. If the majority in the House was a lot wider, all right, and they didn't need those votes from the Freedom Caucus, there's a good chance that they just would have ignored them. Because it's so slim, they had to include this. And from what I hear, there was like a whole bunch of, wheeling and dealing, trips to the White House to make sure that this was in there so that the Freedom Caucus would vote for this bill. So because the majority is so thin on the House, the way it kind of works is that the House has to pass it, and then whatever the House passes, the Senate has to eat. All right, they have to swallow it and digest it and eat it, because if the Senate were to vote this bill down and then it goes back to the House, there's no guarantee that anything that they like is going to come out of the House, right? They might get a bill that they like even less. So because this is the way it generally works when you have a thin majority, right? The side with the House or the chamber with the thinner majority, that's the one that kind of dictates what's going to get passed. So in this case, it's the House. We passed this through the House. The Senate is going to have to swallow it. Now, what was not included in this bill is the Short Act, right? Which basically gets the the SBRs, the short barrel rifles, out of the NFA, and the push is going to be right to try and include that as an amendment. Okay, so that's what the push is going to be. I don't know if that's going to go through or not. You know what? Making those calls, to your senators, it helps, right? That's the reason why we got this through the House, because of all the people that were calling and putting pressure. I don't have the number offhand, but yeah, you can kind of basically if you look up Senate switchboard, you'll be able to get through, and then you tell them who your senator is or what state you're from, and then they put you into their voicemail. Yeah, I mean, great. Yeah, I mean, I know the senator is not ever going to actually hear this, but there's people there that basically keep tallies how many people call in. On the House side, the switchboard was actually shut down, right? So many people were calling in that they had to shut it down, right? They couldn't take any more calls. So that's the amount of pressure that they received on the House side to get this bill passed to include the Hearing Protection Act, basically, because they took the Hearing Protection Act, they basically rolled into that. That's the kind of pressure that it took. And Trump and they knew that if this wasn't included in there, this bill was not passing. So that's why it's in there and why it passed the House. So same deal on the Senate. If we can get this, hopefully we can get the Short Act included in that to get the SBRs out of the NFA. If we can do that, that would be like awesome, right? If we could, because right now this House bill basically kills 1/3 of the NFA. If we can get the SBRs out of the NFA, that kills 2/3 of the NFA, right? Then all we got to work on is getting the machine guns out of the NFA. So we're making like really good progress here. We just got to keep the pressure on. I'm almost certain that the Senate is going to pass this. The question is, are they going to pass it with, with the Short Act, with getting the SBRs out? And if it doesn't, it's, you know what? This is more progress than I have seen in the last 20 years, right? Because in the last 20 or so years, like the Congress really hasn't done anything for us, okay? The rights that I gained by moving out of New York into Pennsylvania. So I gained those rights for myself. The Congress didn't actually do for anything. So this would actually be the first time for me that the Congress actually does something for me to expand my rights. So I'm really excited about this. So yeah, now there's a lot of people out there that are saying they've read the language and this is not what it says. Like I said earlier, the NRA and GOA said that yes, this is what it does. Okay, there's reasons why they worded it this way, basically as a backup, but this is what it does. Right now, it's passed the House. The suppressors are out of the NFA, which is absolutely awesome. Now, between the two, suppressors coming out of the NFA and short barrel rifles coming out of the NFA, I'd rather get the suppressors out first. Okay, the reason is because on the SBR side, we got the pistol braces. All right, that's already that ATF rule has been killed. There's already millions and millions of short barrel ARs and AKs out there. We've already got the braces. I mean, if when the Short Act passes, all it is for me is a matter of, take off the brace, slap on slap on a regular stock, which I already own. I own both, So it's, and you know what? When the camera goes off, people don't know what I got on my guns anyway, right? So it takes a second to slap them on, slap them off. But suppressors, on the other hand, that's a lot harder to build, right? You got to basically, the easiest way to do it is to get a shielded muzzle brake, but you got to know how to weld, which I do, but most people don't have a welder, don't know how to weld. So not so easy for most people to get and build suppressors. So that's why I want suppressors to come out of the NFA first, basically get those out in circulation, pump out millions and millions and millions of those, just like we got, because we already have millions and millions of short, of AR pistols out there, right? So no matter what they do in Congress, they're already out there. So what we need to do is get millions and millions of suppressors into circulation. So this bill would do this, and down the road, right? If they ever come back and they reverse this, right? Democrats find a way to reverse this. You know what? The suppressor's already out there. They're never getting them back. They're never going to get registered. We're never going to pay a tax on it. Once they get out there, they're out there. Okay. Also worth noting, this only requires 51 votes in the Senate. Right? There's no filibuster on where budget bills are not subject to the filibuster. So all they need is 51 votes to pass. Okay. So we just need 51 votes in the Senate, and I think we already have a 54 or maybe 56. I don't remember the number. We already have a nice majority in the Senate. So there's an excellent chance that this will pass because it's not subject to filibuster, right? And if it gets on Trump's desk, he's gonna sign it, right? Now, granted, Trump doesn't care about the suppressors, but he wants all the other stuff that's in the bill, right? That's the stuff that he wants. Now, people have also mentioned that. A few people mentioned that, yeah, this raises the deficit by some $5 trillion. You know what? They were gonna raise it no matter what. Okay. The fact of the matter is that where we are now, every 90 days, $1 trillion of interest is added to the deficit. That's every 90 days, all right? So that's like what? Like $4 trillion a year that's being added just in interest. So that's going to be added no matter what. We're at the point right now where there's just so much, the deficit is just so high that there's just no way to pay it down. And I've talked about other videos as far as the deficit. Here's the thing, 1 trillion seconds, right, to put things in perspective for you, 1 trillion seconds is 31,000 years, okay? So there's nobody to borrow $1 trillion from. So this money just represents how much they are diluting the dollar by, okay? So, they don't actually borrow this money, they just print it up electronically, and that's what the debt represents, okay? And with the interest, it just keeps compounding. It keeps adding another $1 trillion every 90 days. So that's just something that, just take it off the table. Don't even consider it. Just let's get something that really matters and counts. Let's get the suppressors and the SBRs out of the NFA, and then down the road we go after the machine guns. And I mean, realistically, just like I said with the SBRs, with the pistol braces, we're already there. I mean, that's just that's just a matter of slapping on a stock, right? Instead of swapping out the brace, putting in the stock. So we've already, I mean, the pistol braces really, realistically killed the SBR NFA. Okay, and on the machine gun side, between the binary triggers, force reset triggers, the bump stocks, me doing videos teaching people how to bump fire without a bump stock, I mean, realistically, that has realistically killed the machine gun ban in the NFA as well, right? And plus also the knowledge that's out there of how to make auto sears, right? Forget about drilling holes and stuff. Just making an auto sear. That knowledge is out there. People know how to do it. People know how to 3D print it. People know how to bend, a bar into an auto sear. So anyway, drop some comments. Let me know what you guys think. And yeah, this is looking really, really good for us. Very happy day. Talk to y'all soon.